What is really external validation? Why do we seek it? Is it healthy? Hi, this is Prachi. I'm a psychologist. Let's talk about this. Also, happy World Mental Health Day. It is a natural part of being human to care about what people think of us and how they view us. We want to feel seen, heard, and valued by others. And validation can come from both other people and from within. External validation refers to basing one's personal value and self worth on the standards of others. This means that whether a person sees themselves as a valuable individual is determined by what others think. It's seeking their approval to feel good about ourselves. This can lead to constantly trying to gain that approval of others through our actions, behaviors, appearance. And so the goal becomes of saying or doing anything to get attention from others or a group of people. When we seek external validation, the focus is massively on striving to go for something that looks good. Whether it is your job, your house, your car, many expensive things, designer clothes, the way you look, how you present yourself, doing things on social media such as using filters, getting that picture perfect, Instagram worthy shot, or doing trendy things, being controversial to provoke reactions and whatnot. It is filled with pretense, exaggeration, and at times lying. The importance is given to how you are perceived by others to an extent that it becomes a need, not just an additional thing that happens to be there in our lives. Validation in itself isn't a bad thing. We need it, it is affirming and positive. Validation basically is acknowledging and accepting a person's inner experiences, thoughts, feelings, and behaviors as valid. External validation becomes pervasive when people's thoughts and opinions dictate our life choices. With the rise of social media and the comparison game that is constantly there, it is easy to fall into this trap. When someone likes your post, or how many followers do you have and how many do they have, or people are praising you a lot, then everything is great. But when these things don't happen, they are affecting you negatively, as in you feel very anxious or invisible. If someone agrees with you, you feel like you're smart and right. But if someone disagrees with you, you feel threatened, alone, angry, and the self-doubt creeps in. All of this leads to feeling not good enough, because feeling good enough is completely externally dependent. All of this also leads to fearing rejection and lots of people pleasing behaviors, which means that we often self-abandon and betray ourselves in order to earn that external validation, and therefore we are completely disconnected from our own self. At its core, the struggle between external validation and self-perception is a battle for control over our own self-worth. We may feel that momentary boost in confidence when someone compliments us or likes our post on social media, but it's never enough to fully fill in the void that is inside. This constant need to get that validation can be exhausting and ultimately unsatisfying. It leaves us feeling empty, insecure, and anxious. We aren't really making choices that are truly aligned with who we are, what we truly value, what do we need, and what do we want to spend our money on. In many cases, people who are people pleasers don't even know who they truly are, what they actually feel and think, what they like or dislike, because they have learned to neglect themselves and completely be enmeshed with others to keep the relationship and ultimately that sense of self that they gain from it. The other end of the spectrum is when someone completely disregards others, their boundaries, and humanity. They only care about themselves. People who exhibit narcissistic tendencies will also behave this way, right? And that is also rooted in seeking external validation. Both of these behaviors are unhealthy and indicate low self-esteem, as they are deeply rooted in fear of abandonment and rejection. Another important piece to consider is that we also live in a culture that values achievement and success above all else. There are certain standards for what is considered successful, happy, or the right way to live, seeming like you have many accomplishments is considered to be determining your value in the society, in the eyes of other people. This mentality can lead us to constantly seek out that validation from others because we are constantly trying to prove our worth and value according to those societal standards. What this does is that people give so much importance to external validation that it leaves them feeling disempowered without it. Remember, external sources are fleeting, and the definition of what is a valuable attribute in a person can change depending on the source. Well, understanding the root causes of why you seek external validation can be really helpful in building a strong sense of self. One way to cultivate a healthy sense of self-worth is to focus on building strong foundation of self-esteem from within. So this can involve recognizing and acknowledging one's own strengths, values and accomplishments, and learning to validate oneself instead of constantly seeking that validation from others. We don't rely on others to validate our existence and to define us. We feel increasingly more and more connected to ourselves when we do that for ourselves. We can accept who we really are. We realize that we are grown individuals now and that we are not dependent, powerless children who truly do rely on other people, their caregivers, to survive and move forward. So we are less and less likely to be frightened by rejection and our need to psychologically depend on others because we can handle it. It is important to discern also whose opinions really matter, have an impact on us, and in which areas of our lives, who they are, what they do, where they come from, and what kind of lives they lead. So, do what they say truly apply to our lives is what we need to understand and discern. So be proactive about living your life on your own terms and finding what is really meaningful to you. Allow yourself to not be for everyone, to be disliked, and to not be approved by some. It doesn't mean that they are wrong for doing that, and it also doesn't mean that you're wrong. Life is multidimensional. We need to connect to ourselves and create a life that is fulfilling for us. That can lead to some people supporting us, validating our choices, and actually being proud of them, while others might disagree with it and might even be disappointed. And that is okay, because no matter what, you are on your side. I hope you found this helpful. Once again, happy Mental Health Day. I thought this was an important topic to cover and discuss today, especially. So, I really hope you found this helpful. Thank you for being here.